In this video, I'll give you a demonstration of how you can use Git and GitLab to complete individual assignments for the MSBA program. So I am right now on GitLab on my projects page. And you'll see that there are two repos linked here for the RSM individual assignment practice. Now for one of those, you'll see you are listed as the maintainer, and that is the one that starts with your username. So RSM dash and then the first part of your ucsd.edu email. There's also another link to RSM individual assignment practice, which starts with the class ID, which is RSM ICT for 2019. And for that, you are a reporter. Now, reporter is basically the lowest level of access that you can have to a repo on GitLab. And it basically gives you limited permissions. For example, you can't make any changes to this. And that makes sense because this is the original or master repo that the instructor or the TA will generate. And then from that, we make a copy or a fork of that particular repo for you that you can edit and make changes to. So again, this is the original instructor copy of the assignment, if you will. And then this is the copy or the fork that was generated for you that starts with your username. So this is the one you want to clone and edit. This one you can also clone and edit, but then if you try to push your changes back up to GitLab, you will not be able to because you don't have permission to make changes here. Okay. All right, so let's get started. So let's click on the student copy, if you will. And then I'm going to go ahead and clone that. And then I'm going to use the Docker container to start up RStudio. And start gitgadget. And I'm going to clone. All right. So click on clone. It'll take a second. You should see some messages on the left in a second. I guess you don't see that because it starts up the new project right away. That's fine. And so now here we are. So this is the practice assignment. So let's open up this RMD file, which is an R Markdown file, which can contain a combination of R code and text. In this case, we're just adding some text and then saving that and staging it and committing it and pushing it back to GitLab. Right, so it's a very simple assignment to start with. So put in my last name, put in my first name, and my favorite food. Hit save. Okay, so you saw that before. If I make a change to my file, then at the top here, the font will get a little lighter gray. You'll see this little star here, which is just that the changes have not been saved. And so I can go ahead and save now. Now the document has been saved, the changes have been saved. And if I go to the Git tab, we'll see that that file is listed here. All right. Now, in addition, what I wanted you to do is not just change the RMD file, but also see what it looks like when you knit it. So if I click on the knit button here, it'll convert this text file into an HTML file. And here we see the information, my last name, my first name or preferred name, and my favorite food. Okay. So, and by the way, there's a space in here that shouldn't be. So that's another change I'm going to make. And now it looks like there's two files that have been changed and that we can go ahead and commit. So let's click on the commit tab. And now if I want to include in my commit all the files that have changed, I'm just going to go ahead and stage all of those. Now it says I'm not going to show you any differences that you made here because this is an HTML file. It's pretty large, so it doesn't want to show you that. But I can click on practice-assignment and see what changes there are. Okay, so this was the original. This is in red. And so that's where we see last name, first name, favorite food. There were no information provided there. And now here are the changes that I made in green. You notice actually I also removed one space here that otherwise invalidated the link. Right? So I can now clearly see what I changed in my edits. So now I'm going to say I'm done because I'm done with my assignment. That's my commit message. And when I'm done with that, I'm going to commit. Now, if you recall, a commit is just a snapshot, the state of the files in your project. And that all happens locally. Okay? So now it says that your branch, which is the stuff that you have locally, is ahead of what's available remotely. And so what we're going to do is hit push to push our changes from our local computer up onto GitLab. Okay, so press push. Okay, looks like that's complete. And now let's go take a look on GitLab to see if our changes actually got through. Okay, so I'm going to refresh the browser. And now we'll see that there's a couple things that have changed. You can see here the commit message that you put in, all right, that I put in, and we can see the file here. And so we can see that our changes are here. Now you can actually also on GitLab look at your changes. So this is the original repo. And we can take a look and see here at the top, we can see what happened during this commit. So let's click on that. And it will show us the same as what we saw in our studio, exactly what changes were made in the current commit that we pushed up to GitLab. Okay. Now, if this is the same process that you go through, then that means that you've been successful. And you don't need to do anything other than this part. Basically, you look for your particular copy of the repo, the fork of the repo that we create for you. Then you clone that, you make your changes, you commit those, and then you push those back up to GitLab. And then the TA or instructor will pull all the changes, all the completed assignments together so we can start looking at those and give feedback and do grading. Okay?